Phil Lindeman, Crystal Media News Director, in the studio again for the end of our Humans of Summit Rescue series. Sad to see it go, but it was great while it was here. And today I got Martin Allen. Martin, good to have you here in the studio.
Yeah, Phil, great to be here. Thank you.
Oh, and thanks again to you and everybody else for stopping by to talk a little bit about being involved in search and rescue. And I've talked to a lot of people about a lot of different things. One thing we haven't really touched on, though, is everything that goes on outside of search and rescue, fundraising events, like Rock for Rescue. You got to tell me a little bit about that thing. That is one of my favorite events that goes on here in the county.
Sure, Phil. And before I dig into that, I just want to say thank you to Crystal 93. This operation here has been a great asset and partner with us for many, many years. So we really appreciate everything you guys do and bring attention to our team.
Yeah, making us blush.
Yeah, Rock for Rescue. So just to start with that, I got to give a shout out to Corey Foster, of course. If you've been around the county long enough, you probably know Corey Foster, but brewer and owner out at Baker's Brewery many, many, many years ago, and I mean many years ago, he all by himself basically started a small event that was actually held out at Keystone River Run at the Kickapoo, I believe, a long time ago, called Rock for Rescue. It was very small. And, Corey's a big backcountry enthusiast, and he basically started the event with just a small one band and a small thing and didn't really raise a lot of money, but he kept it going. Then it kind of disappeared a little bit, and then him and I kind of just started it up a few years ago with the town of Silverthorne. And ever since then, every year we've been holding the Rock for Rescue annually in the winter, really as a fundraising event, but also as a thank you to the community to bring a great event with our local brewers who are always supporting us, and music, and just have a great time. Now, we did have like many things during the pandemic, we had that shut down for a little while, and we're bringing it back this year. And it's going to be the first time, I think, in 3 years that we've had it.
Sweet. When's it going to be happening? Do you know yet?
Absolutely. So it's going to be happening January 28th. That's a Saturday, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. And if you want, I'll go ahead and go through some of the details.
Yeah, lay it on me.
All right. The tickets this year are going to be $50. That is a slight increase than in the past. But it's important to remember a lot of that money after basic expenses goes to the team. So it's all to the team and really to support our backcountry and search and rescue efforts. The ticket sales will start January 3rd, and you can get those at the Silverthorne website. And, this year, interestingly enough, the 3 Silverthorne brewers are getting together, and they're going to be doing a all Silverthorne collaboration beer. So they're prepping that now to be ready for that day. And not only will we have that, obviously, at the event, but these 3 breweries, AJ, of course, Corey, and then Syndicate, which is a newer brewery down here in the Dillon, Silverthorne area, we'll be selling that at their pubs too to celebrate to help celebrate our 50th anniversary and also support the team.
Do you got a name for that beer yet? Do they know?
They don't know yet. No, they don't. I'm
right.
Sure they're working diligently on it though.
How closely do you guys work? Because I know that you guys have done that before, and that's another cool piece of it. How closely does the rescue group work with them on naming the thing or picking what kind of beer you want, or not really?
Yeah, we certainly, like Corey and AJ, certainly like to share that and get people's ideas and input. But to be honest, I usually kind of, as the one who's usually sometimes involved in those discussions, I really like to put it back in the hands of the brewers because they really know what's going to be a good name and good presentation.
Gotcha. Which also brings to mind, I was thinking back to, when you guys were raising money
Yes.
for the headquarters.
Yes.
You had everybody in town on some kind of their own twist on a beer for rescue.
Yeah, we were definitely, it was a big push, obviously. Thank you for bringing that up. The barn, for those out there who don't know, we are getting a new headquarters, and it's been a long time in the making. A lot of people have come through for that. And definitely there were some special brews that were put out and some special events just for that. And a chance to say thank you to the Summit County community out there for really helping us get that project moving.
Now, when you do sit back and kick back with a beer, are you a beer drinker in the first place?
I love beer and wine.
All right.
Both.
When you pick the beer, what's your go-to?
For me,
for you.
yeah, like if you're talking just a style of beer, I find definitely like if you're heading back into the back country, you want to be, of course, very careful and prudent. But to me, after a long day, nothing's better than a really cold, fresh Pilsner of some type.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Pilsner's my go-to. I had a brewer friend that said when he goes to breweries all across the world even, he orders the Pilsner first. Because if they got a good Pilsner, they know what they're doing. If it's not good, he doesn't usually.
Yeah, it's a canary in the coal mine for yeah.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah, I'm right there with you. And of course, I'm not going to make you name your favorite brewery in town. Don't want to get you in any trouble.
They're all my favorite.
Exactly. There you go. Whichever one I'm sitting at's my favorite. Yeah, I agree. So you guys do all sorts of events. What are some other things that have when it comes to like favorite events that you've helped kind of be a part of over the years? What are some ones that maybe?
Well, certainly Rock for Rescue, of course, and then I would say we hold a lot of smaller events with partners that kind of just keep coming back to us and wanting to help the team. Mm-hmm. Phil, we're very lucky in Summit County. This is such a supportive community for our team. And I can tell you, like RMU over in Breckenridge is always a great big supporter and always looking to have small events at their operation. So is Underground Snowboards. So really, Rock for Rescue has traditionally been our main event, and then we'll have smaller ones throughout the year. But then also, one of my favorite things to do is Dillon Amphitheater and Town of Dillon really support us with their efforts and will invite us to be their charity to the night multiple times. And those are always great because I get to go in, help them out, and then also hear some great music.
Did you guys get one this last summer?
We did. We got a few. They're very generous to us here.
All right. Very cool. Very cool. And like you said, all that money goes to support the, rescue group, all volunteer, nonprofit, making things happen and growing over the years. How long have you been involved with the rescue team?
I joined the team 2009, so I guess that would be around 13 years or so, 12 or 13 years.
Tell me what it was like back then. What do you remember from rescue right there in the late 2000s?
Yeah, it was very similar. Our mission was similar, of course. I'll tell you what's changed is just the sheer volume of calls has changed dramatically, and we've always been one of the busier teams in North America, and I do say North America specifically to include Canada because we're part of the Mountain Rescue Association and we have partner teams up there. But really just the incredible increase in calls that we've had in the past 5 to 8 years. It's considerable.
Are you a mission coordinator?
I am not. I'm a state coordinator, which is a whole kind of different thing, of which I'm actually performing that duty today as we sit here and speak.
Oh, really? So what exactly is that?
So that's called CSAR, and we have another member on the team. And what we do is we pull a week-long shift every quarter, and we help teams throughout the state coordinate missions or get them assets if they need a Black Hawk or something special or need additional help. We help them with their missions.
All right. So this is your week then.
It's my
when
week.
You're on call, how do you manage being on call for this statewide coordination?
Well, it's a busy position to have for sure, especially like you said, we're all volunteer, and even at that level, we're volunteer, and I have to work my normal job also. You just balance it, you juggle it as it comes, and just do the best you can, and it seems to always work out in the end.
I like to hear that. And I'm sure anybody that needs help. How about, during the holidays, have you guys seen an uptick already statewide in calls or not really? Because everybody was telling me so far, winter's been pretty mellow so far.
So both on the local team, both on our team here and also in the state, I would say, yeah, it's not been too bad. It hasn't been overwhelming. Traditionally, I think Christmas and the holiday period, we do see a little bit of a slowdown because people are so focused on spending time with their families and not as much in the backcountry, but we'll definitely start to see the uptick very soon.
Great. So, I'm thinking right away that last week there was multiple calls out on Berthoud. We also had some other. Were you involved in those, or were you not on call last week?
Yeah, no, I'm always on call with the team, of course, and then I was not on call last week with CSAR. Okay. But definitely calls are, you definitely saw an uptick in some calls.
Yeah, that's the truth. And it seemed like, particular zones were just having a rough week last week.
That's a way to phrase it, yeah, particular zones.
Definitely. So how'd you get involved with, the state level stuff?
just, I was on our board for the local team a few times, and then also I became our representative to our region for the Mountain Rescue Association. And then just through that, talking to different agencies and just networking, and eventually some spots opened on the CSAR coordinator operation, and I just applied for that and got accepted into it.
All right, great. And talk about, I guess, Colorado as a whole when it comes to search and rescue. What's the sense that you get as far as, involvement with the teams as far as volunteers go, and then also support for the teams? Because it feels like, in recent years, there's been a little bit more attention paid to, supporting our search and rescue. Probably comes with the fact that more people are getting into the backcountry, like you said, that call load. But what have you seen as far as, volunteer involvement and also support from the places that matter?
Sure, and that's a good question, and a very important point, because right now in Colorado it is an issue. The teams are being stretched with an increase in call load, and certainly in certain parts of the state, but across the state as a whole. One thing I can say is the state itself, and I would say this is a bipartisan thing. The state has really come through to really start to look for how they can help increase resources to these teams. In Colorado, your search and rescue teams are associated and connected to the county sheriff. And so some of that depends then on your relationship in each county with the sheriff. And we're very lucky here in Summit County. Our sheriff's department works hand in hand with us and really supports us in a very high level. But really the state, what's been very impressive is the state in the past couple of years has really stepped this up and stepped this discussion up in the legislative body. It's really trending upward, the support that I think the teams are going to start seeing from the state. Okay.
If you and other rescuers, folks who have been involved for a while, had a wish list of things you would love to see, what tops that list?
Okay, that's an interesting question, because everyone has their like for me, dirt bikes would be the top of that list. I think more than anything, just a continued increase in the ability to make sure the teams, and I'm speaking for all teams in this, I'm speaking not for all teams, but about all teams in the state, just to make sure that there's always enough resources to replace equipment that breaks, to make sure that everything we need to take into the backcountry to help people is always readily available, to make sure our training is always there and supported properly. And I think that's just it, just the general sense of resources and what we need to keep going.
Okay. I'm not sure if you know this. Is Summit's team the largest in the state?
The largest by membership?
Yeah.
We're definitely up there. I would say it's probably us, Alpine, and then RMR, Rocky Mountain Rescue down in Boulder, might have the biggest memberships. We're definitely up there. I wouldn't know who has the most.
Okay. Alpine Rescue, that's Clear Creek?
Yeah, Clear Creek.
Yeah, okay. I thought so. And that kind of makes sense, because you think of the big areas where people are recreating. Yeah, Boulder, Clear Creek, and Summit right here. They're the easiest to get to in general.
Yeah, that has a big part of it, for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, the only reason I ask is because, it's, like you said, you got a great relationship with the sheriff, the person who's, jurisdiction you lie under. And he's told me before that a lot of sheriffs, sometimes they back off from that. They think, wow, I'm doing my sheriff's job. I don't want to deal with this. He's told me the way that he sees it is that, that is part of, it's part of Summit County. He kind of signed on for it, and so why not support the people like yourselves that are making jobs easier on his deputies when it comes to, keeping people safe in the background, because you guys are on call 24/7.
24/7.
He'd have a hard time, he says, getting a deputy to do the same thing. Saying that, hey, by the way, after you're done doing enforcement, I need you to go up and rescue somebody that's stuck on top of a mountain.
Yeah, and a lot of the missions can be very labor intensive too, and that's why and again, back just to that point. Every relationship, I think, for every team is a little different in each county, depending on all kinds of factors. But overall, I just can't tell you how lucky we are as a team that the Summit County Sheriff's Department is just such a solid supporter of our operations.
Now, a little bit on you yourself. These days, how often are you going out in the field?
Yeah, so for me individually, for the past few months, to be honest with you, Phil, I've actually come back. I was in India in August, and I was up in the Himalaya, and I was dirt biking around, and I kind of injured my ankle. So I'm actually still rehabbing that. So me personally, my mission count's a little low right now, but that'll start increasing steadily.
Yeah, I almost want to start talking about dirt biking in India.
It's a good time.
How did that even get on your radar?
Oh, just I have friends who we're always looking for something new and interesting to do. So
okay, and were you on the Indian side of the Himalayas, or were you?
Yeah,
elsewhere?
we were up in Ladakh, which is right across. It's right there between China, Pakistan, and India. So it's definitely that area that has some challenges, geopolitical challenges going on there.
When did you injure the ankle?
That's hard to know. I think it was just I was really on a dirt bike in some pretty harsh conditions for a couple of weeks, pretty much 6 to 8 hours a day, and I think it's just overuse.
All right.
And
so it's not like you had like an injury that cut off the trip halfway through or something like that.
I was the only. I can proudly say I was the only individual in my group that did not drop the bike once.
All right.
So just overuse, I think.
Gold star for that one, man.
Yeah.
Well, cool. I mean, that sounds sweet, and it makes sense now why you're saying, hey, it'd be great to have dirt bikes on the team. Now, when you find yourself out in the field, what do you tend to? What do you feel are your biggest strengths on the team? Summer, winter, what kind of response do you tend to gravitate to?
Well, to me, one thing about our team is we're in constant training, and we all have different skills, and we're constantly trying to learn new skills, focus on the skills we're strong at. For me personally, I always enjoy the winter missions. I like winter. I still love the mountains for winter. I love the challenge of the winter that the winter environment brings, and I just get invigorated by just winter conditions. And so when I'm heading into a mission, and we're being, obviously a mission is a very serious incident, that kind of environment really pushes me to really go out there and do the best I can on a mission.
Can you think of any times that you felt like you had gotten above your head, that you were out of your comfort zone?
Yeah, I don't think there's anyone on our team who hasn't felt that before, for sure, because our missions are so varied in what could happen. It could be anything from a high angle mission, on a straight down cliff, to an avalanche, of course. You just name it, mountain bike, whatever. And the good thing about our team is because we are constantly in training, this is something we never stop doing. And we have so many strong team members in so many different areas that we're always able to, if you're feeling a little above your head, we always have the ability to work with each other to make sure we're able to pull off whatever we need to. Or stand down if you're that far ahead, above your head, yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing that I have definitely learned about the team as I've been interviewing everybody is that, just the variety of experience and the depth of experience on that team helps people feel as though, they can kind of handle anything. And if they can't, they really don't feel they can, they're comfortable saying, guys, I'm out on this one.
100% every time.
Yeah, good to know. Good to know. Finally, if you had a wish list of event type stuff that you could bring back, or that you could do in the future, Rock to Rescue, I mean, it's hard to top. But do you have anything that, maybe people have said, you guys should do this, you guys should try this?
Sure. We're always thinking about new and interesting things. And I think, Phil, to answer that question, I think the best way to phrase it for this year, and I don't know if you've talked about this with the other team members, but this is our 50th anniversary. 2023 is our 50th anniversary as a team from the founders group of mountaineers who started this team many, 50 years ago. And so this year we're looking at not just a single event to celebrate that, but really to celebrate it the entire year. And to really also focus on celebrating it with the community. We want a big part of this to be a year-long thank you to the community of Summit County and the support they've given the team over the years. And I can tell you there are some things in the works that are quite exciting, but unfortunately I can't let them out quite right now.
Not even a little bit?
Not even a little bit.
Not even like a taste test? Oh.
Let's say maybe something like big concert in big area in the summer.
All right.
That's what we're trying to figure out.
Hey, if there's one thing Crystal 93 listeners love, it's hearing music outside.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And for a great cause. Well, Martin, that was the last thing I had for you. Thanks again for making time to come in and talk a little bit more about, search and rescue. And finally, a big thanks to you and the entire team. And the team statewide, not just our team.
But all the teams out there. Yeah, it's one thing if you're a resident or a visitor in the state of Colorado, I can tell you that across our mountains, the teams that are out there ready to come get you if you get in trouble, and And as a reminder, we never bill. There's never an invoice associated with our services. You are well served in the state of Colorado in the backcountry by the teams we currently have deployed out there right now.
That is not carte blanche to go out and get yourself lost or in trouble, but
please do not.
but no, that there's help if you need it. Well, Martin, thanks again for making time. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Phil.
Yeah, Phil Lindeman closing off our Humans of Summit Rescue series on Crystal 93, but stay tuned because there's lots of superheroes out there in the community. I think I'll be expanding this one out with just humans of Summit County. Yeah, stay tuned for that in the new year, 2023. It's Phil Lindeman here on Crystal 93.